Hello, all. It's time for Jason's Thoughts, episode 8. For this episode, I'm going to dedicate it to one of my best friends because if it ain't 8, it ain't great. So, today I want to talk about names other than your own in the workplace and outside of the workplace. This pertains a lot to men mostly. Not to say that women won't, but this is in reference to terms like dude, bud, pal, buddy guy, and also not to leave out terms like sir and madame, especially in the workplace. And so I'm going to go back to my experience, which was the one that really triggered me in making sure that I use people's names and, in the absence of not knowing their name, the easy fix. So, a long time ago, I was supporting a bunch of stores and I had known the team for quite some time. And I came in for a store visit and I was greeted by one of the managers, and I welcomed him by just saying, good morning, Chris. How's your day going? And started up in a conversation, not thinking too much of it. And later, he pulled me aside and he said, "You know what, Jason, I'd really appreciate you use my full name, which is Christopher." And I thought, okay. On his name tag, it had his full name, and I just thought, Christopher would be Chris. And I assumed. And I said, yeah, can you, totally no problem, my apologies. I said, can you just tell me why? And he said, well, my mother gave me that name, and if she wanted to name me Chris, she would have called me Chris. And so I thought, wow, you know what? I should never assume that. And so now I go back to these terms that seem to be so current in at least the workplaces I'm around, and I also hear it elsewhere with bud and all these things with that same thought process. When I think about the term dude and bud and all these things, when I'm hanging out with my best friends, absolutely, I'm probably the worst. I call everyone dude, bud, pal, and everything in between. But when I reflect back, when I was starting to meet them 25 plus years ago, I didn't call them dude, I didn't call them bud, because I was starting a relationship with them. So I was calling them by their first names as I got to know them. And then as we grew closer and closer together, I was able to start calling them bud, pal, dude, the rest. When it comes to the workplace or where you're in a leadership role, and those that work closely with me know, I just don't think there's a place for it. And it's not that it's necessarily disrespecting anybody, but it's assuming that they are okay with it. So, when it's, hey, bud, can you get this for me? Or, hey, bud, I need you to increase your performance. There's a certain comfort level that might be there, but there is really got to be a leadership presence as well. And so I think that it is really, really critical to call everyone by their first names, regardless of the time worked together. And I just think in the place of business, it should always be first name. Now, here's an example I will give you personally in why I think greeting people by assuming sir is respectful or madame is respectful. Now, myself personally, for those that know me, you may know my age, you may not, but I certainly act a lot younger than I truly am. And often when I go into stores, someone will say, hello, sir. And to be honest, I'm a bit offended. And it's not to disrespect anyone that does enjoy it. I just feel that, sir to me feels like, someone was knighted by the queen, but also that they may be older or more experienced. And for me, I always feel that I try to be young and youthful. And so, all in all, I think we just got to make sure that we don't assume and put in some sort of name without their true name. So, as I said, dude, sir, madame, you're assuming that they're okay with it. And that is putting yourself at risk because you may insult someone just after you said hello. The quick fix is don't put a title. Hey, hello, how's your day going? Hello, how's the weather out there? Hey, how have you been? There's no need to actually fill in a name. So what I would say is omit it. And when you get to a good conversation and you pick up their name, that's perfect. Hey, if you don't mind, am I okay to call you by this name? So just my guidance and my thoughts is don't use the slang. Dude, for me, it reminds me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up as a kid, and I feel like I should have a surfboard and a slice of pizza in hand. Realistically, just have that in mind going forward. And if someone does call you sir or dude or pal, it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I prefer to be called Jason. There's nothing wrong with that. It does clarify that there is a line and you really want to stay on this side. So going forward, just call them by their first name. No slang, no dude, no bud, no pal. That's Jason's thoughts for this day. Thanks.